Welcome to Turner Classic Movies. I'm Ben Mankiewicz. We're devoting our entire programming lineup this afternoon and into this evening to family films. And we'll continue now with Fred MacMurray starring in a Disney classic from 1961, The Absent-Minded Professor. During Hollywood's golden era back in the 30s and 40s, Disney, of course, was world famous for full-length animated features, movies like Snow White, Pinocchio. Well, then in the 1950s, Disney started making live-action films too, but it wasn't until the late 50s that Disney started making the kind of movies the studio is known for today, live-action family comedies. The Absent-Minded Professor was one of the first of those films. It tells the story of an often forgetful and always preoccupied science professor at a small college, played by Fred MacMurray. During one of his wacky experiments, MacMurray accidentally creates an amazing new substance. It feels like rubber, and it makes things fly. As you're about to see, the comic possibilities of such a substance, which he calls flubber, are virtually endless. From 1961, also featuring Nancy Olsen, Keenan Wynn, and Keenan Wynn's old man, the great comedy actor Ed Wynn. Here's The Absent-Minded Professor.
Energy takes on many forms. Example, what do we know of acoustical energy? It was discovered by a famous scientist, right? Wrong. We must give full credit to an Italian tenor who one night was singing an aria in a Milano pizza parlor. You all know the story, how he hit a high note and the sound waves shattered a wine glass on the other side of the room. Well, watch me and I will show you acoustical energy at work.
And while we hold your banner high, rock, rock, we shout your praises to the sky, rock, rock, for proud are we of mighty Medfield, loyally we cheer. Medfield, Medfield, rah, 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 around the modern field.
Now, your next assignment will be, oh, I forgot. There'll be no assignment. See you next week.
We just watched Turner Classic Movies' intro for The Absent-Minded Professor as it aired on the channel in 2008. This was one of the Disney films TCM ran for a month-long series of movies called The Family Classics, which featured older live-action Disney films. The film is The Absent-Minded Professor, a 1961 fantasy comedy from Walt Disney Productions starring Fred MacMurray, Nancy Olsen, Keenan Wynn, Tommy Kirk, and Ed Wynn. In the film, absent-minded Professor Ned Brainard, played by MacMurray, discovers a new substance he calls flubber after an explosion in his lab. The new substance returns more energy than is applied to it, meaning it can cause things to bounce to incredible heights and even cause the professor's old Model T car to float when bombarded with gamma rays. But the explosion caused him to miss his wedding for the third time, and his fiancée Betsy, played by Nancy Olsen, now wants nothing to do with him. He spends the rest of the movie learning about Flubber, trying to convince people of its potential, and trying to win back his bride. Along the way, a ruthless businessman named Alonzo Hawk, played by Keenan Wynn, finds out about Flubber and wants to use it to get rich. The film is based on the 1943 short story A Situation of Gravity by Samuel W. Taylor, and believe it or not, the main character of Ned Brainard is actually based in part on a real person. The character was inspired by Princeton University chemistry professor Hubert Elia, who was known as Dr. Boom for his explosive demonstrations. The film was a huge hit for Disney, grossing over $25 million during its initial release in 1961. That's like $257 million in today's money. It was also a critical success. The film currently holds a rating of 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Absent-Minded Professor launched a franchise for Disney, including the 1963 sequel, The Son of Flubber, 2 TV sequels that used the same name as the original film, The Absent-Minded Professor, which take place after Ned Brainard has passed away and his lost work on Flubber is rediscovered by another professor at Medfield College named Henry Crawford, who is played by Harry Anderson, and a 1997 feature film remake called Flubber, starring Robin Williams. This is one of the few feature films Walt Disney released in black and white. He usually preferred color. People behind the scenes, including Roy Disney Jr., have said the film was made in black and white for 2 reasons. First, Disney was facing a money crunch after Sleeping Beauty performed poorly at the box office, leading the company to post its first annual loss in years. And second, and perhaps more importantly, because the special effects for the film didn't look good in color, but they did look good in black and white. This explanation comes from an interview given by Roy Disney Jr., and it also explains why the sequel, Son of Flubber, was also filmed in black and white. This movie is one of my favorites, and it's one of the first Disney live-action films I remember seeing on the Disney Channel when I was a kid. Even though it was in black and white, there was something about it that felt fun when I was watching it at a young age. And each time I've watched it as I've grown older, I've picked up on new aspects of the film that I can relate to from a different perspective, having a few more years under my belt, as they say. It wasn't until later that I picked up on how Disney started to mix in some satire in their formula for family comedies with this film, and how the filmmakers poked fun at consumerism, politics, and bureaucracy. This video also includes the introduction from TCM host Ben Mankiewicz. All during the series of films presented on TCM, the host provided extra information and trivia that really added to the viewing experience. Well, those are my comments for this video. If you like these retro videos, please subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up, click the notification bell, and leave a comment. All these things really help the channel. Keep watching for more retro videos like this and other retro videos. Take care of yourself and look out for others. Talk to you later. Bye.
This video brought to you by StockAgogo.com, Stock Photos.